is Valerie Helstein, and I am the guest curator for the exhibition Dialogue and Defiance, Clyfford Still and the Abstract Expressionists. I have a PhD in art history from Stony Brook University. I taught for many years, mostly modern and contemporary art. I taught undergraduate students. I taught adult learners here in Denver. Now I'm an editor, and I like to think I teach people about art in a new way that's not in a classroom setting, but through fashioning gallery texts and producing catalogs. My first experience with Clyfford Still's art, I'm not sure I remember the first painting I saw. I didn't see very many of them, that's for sure, before I moved here. And it was probably when I was in New York, when I had the most sustained interaction with his paintings at the Metropolitan Museum. And I always thought of all the abstract expressionists, he was the hardest to get to know. And it really wasn't until I moved here to Denver at the end of 2016, and I started giving tours here at the Clyfford Still Museum that I fully started to understand his work. The collaboration with the museum was fantastic. It was so much fun. I learned so much from everyone involved, from curatorial and collections to conservation and learning and engagement. And I came with these ideas, but everyone helped me flesh them out a little bit more and really kind of helped steer me in certain directions, especially with choosing which paintings we put on the walls. And I learned so much from the whole process. When I went into painting storage, I had a pretty long list of paintings to consider putting in the exhibition. It was really eye-opening. I mean, obviously, the little thumbnail you see on the screen is nothing like the physical painting hanging on the racks in storage. And after looking at them, looking at the surface of the painting, and really just trying to figure out which paintings looked the best, that would best represent Still. But it was really fascinating to see the differences between the images I saw on the screen and the actual paintings on the racks. It's hard to choose a favorite Clyfford Still painting, but one of my favorites is PH 1071. It's a mostly sort of grayish blue painting, and it has this yellow streak up the side. But there's something that's really, quietly dynamic about it. That gray is so tactile and it feels so warm. And then you have this bright yellow crescendo on the side, and it feels like there's so much emotion wrapped up in just a really seemingly simple composition. But I think it's one of my favorite of Still's. When I was giving tours at the Still Museum over a couple of years, I really came to appreciate the ways in which the architecture really sets off the paintings. The dialogue between Clyfford Still's jagged edges in his paintings and the rough concrete on the walls and the various sight lines from the different galleries. And after a year or so, I really began to see the paintings and the architecture as sort of one amazing experience. One of the challenging things about curating an exhibition at the Still Museum, especially one about community and visual dialogue with other artists, is that you can't bring other artists' works into the museum. So one of the really exciting parts of collaborating with everyone here at the Still Museum was how to bring those voices into the exhibition. So visitors will see large quotes on the walls by other artists. And in many of the galleries, they'll also be able to explore other artists' work through catalogs that will be available. So they'll be able to see the Mark Rothko paintings, the Barnett Newman paintings, while they're looking at the Still paintings. You can find more insights about the exhibition Dialogue and Defiance, Clyfford Still and the Abstract Expressionists on the Bloomberg app.